You're listening to Ignite Your Success, a podcast that inspires fitness professionals to build a strong business that enables them to serve more people and engineer the lifestyle they desire. It's Brad Shepherd here, and together with Jason Ubanowicz, we're best known for running Trainer HQ, a community of passionate and profit-hungry fitness business owners that make a massive difference in others' lives every day. Each episode will unpack for you exactly what's working and deliver best practice strategies so you can confidently grow your business and make a huge impact. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Trainer HQ podcast. And today I am joined by 2024 Trainer HQ Master Coach of the Year, Mr. Cal Tomlinson. How you going, brother?
I'm good, bro. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, mate. Good to have you. Good to have you up in Brisbane, man.
Deep behind enemy lines.
Yeah, you know it, man. We cooked it up today. 34 degrees for you too, hey?
Yeah, hot and steamy.
Love it, mate.
Yeah.
So therefore, we're in the pluggers. Anyone who's watching the video will get the privilege to see our big size 13 feet.
Yeah.
Mate, great. We got a lot to unpack, and really this today we want to sort of unpack a bit about your personal journey, what's got you to this point in the fitness industry, from now coaching, many people, the experiences that you've had. But mate, let's backtrack a little bit. Actually, before we backtrack, let's talk about the current model. So do you want to unpack what you guys are currently doing in your fitness business, yourself and Tahl?
Yeah, so me and my wife Tahlia, we've got our online women's weight loss coaching business now. It's online course-based learning with coaching calls as well that the girls get to do. And we're getting some good results now. We're seeing that really just all that hard work start to pay off. So it's cool.
That's awesome. So women specifically, is it an age demographic as such, or?
It's a little bit broader, sort of anywhere from up to 30 through to 60, people into their 50s.
Yeah.
And typically that busy mums is what we're looking for, really. Yeah, busy mums that have just tried everything, every diet under the sun and failed a million times, right? And we're here to pick up the pieces and show them that there is a better way to do that, right? Because they're always feeling a bit bored by the diet plan or, overwhelmed by all the information they see online. And yeah, so it's really cool to be able to provide a service that actually gets these ladies long-term results. Yeah,
fantastic. I've seen a lot of the footage and Instagram page, all that sort of stuff. We can talk about that. How can people find you and check your guys' stuff out? But tell us about how you guys split up the dynamic, because you're a great team. So tell us about how that part works.
Yeah, I think from day one, our superpower as a couple has just been our communication. We say it all the time. Like we don't play games with each other. We just tell each other what's going on, and there's no confusion. It doesn't mean we don't have our moments, but being able to communicate clearly together, it just helps us divvy out what we're good at, and then we just find our strengths and weaknesses. So Tahlia is pretty much the front end face forward in the business. She's the face of the business. She delivers the coaching and she does the sales and the social media. And then I'm sort of business direction behind the scenes, funneling people in through our groups, managing the database, et cetera, that way. So
sweet. And inside your CRM, that's where you guys use MXP or your version of that. So you that's where you spend most of your time, do you, in the back end of creating the workflows and so forth?
Exactly, yeah. So we've got our pipelines set up, and I was just on there this morning, right, just managing the leads. We just checked in, who have you talked to, where are they at, put the notes in, and then just funnel them through to where they need to be. So
so you work as a team there. So you're keeping Tahlia accountable. She's doing her bit. She's feeding back to you, etc. She's keeping you accountable because you need to do your bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's amazing, because I said from the outside looking in, if I watched your Instagram page, I would say that Tahlia does 95% of the work and you mostly fish and just have a fucking fat time.
Yeah, that... no comment. So that's the story with Instagram, right? Yeah, you only ever get to see the good bits.
Well, you've epitomised, in my opinion, what lifestyle looks like, mate, because you see you out there riding your Harley, fishing. Like you just have a life that I'm sure many are going, fuck, I want that.
Yeah. Look, I always try and make sure I have as much fun as I possibly can. But yeah, I think what a lot of people don't see behind the scenes is the weekends written off creating social media copy and all the other things you have to sacrifice, events with friends, holidays away, all that sort of stuff. So a lot of people don't get to see that, and all the hair pulling moments with difficult situations in business, people don't get to see that. So they only ever see the good bits online. And I'm going to share the fucking good bits.
Well, you got fucking plenty of hair too, brother. You're ticking the box on all levels there. So, but mate, so you didn't start like this. Actually, you also, a milestone for you is you basically sort of effectively, because you were still doing PT yourself face to face, and over years that's kind of you've started to pull yourself away from that. Yeah, you pretty much have started to remove yourself from it altogether.
Yeah. So wrapped up my last face to face PT session essentially last week. And so being able to step away from that, we were just running a little at-home studio that I was running, so just servicing people from the local community, and it was never going to be a long-term thing, but I was in there for 5 years running it, and now we're just at the point that I was like, hey, I think now's a good time to cut it back. We had a really good January with the online side of the business, so it just allowed us to free up that time. And Tahlia's cut back a few hours herself as well, so it's great. That's
fantastic. Yeah, and for so many people tuning into this, the aspiration to go, how can I, talking about engineering a lifestyle, how can I, engineer a lifestyle that I love, and I'm not married to the gym, being in there for 30, 40 sessions a week, and what that might look like. And for many people, it might be, hey, hybrid model might be the first step. And then second step might be to, how do I start reducing more of those hands-on hours?
100%. And when it comes to like designing your business, and I remember Jace telling me this early on, it was like, what's your lifestyle look like? Design your business to fit that. And I think I really took that to heart and ran with it on more of an extreme side of lifestyle. But from day one, as a PT, when I first stepped in, I reached out to an old trainer I used to train with, my old PT, and I said, like, any rules around like what you would do? And he said, don't work Fridays. And so I pretty much cut my Fridays straight away and just having a long weekend every weekend. And once that sort of settled in, I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. Most people are at work on Fridays. I can go run around town and do cool stuff, go to the pub while everyone's at work. And then I just kept cutting back from there over the years.
So good, man. Now, your journey prior to the fitness industry, there was some entrepreneurial spirit into an early business model. I love hearing about this one. So let's unpack a bit about one of your first business ventures before the fitness industry.
Yeah, so me and my mate Dan, we had our online travel adventure page, would be probably one way to describe it, back in the height of like the van lifestyle days of Instagram, where everyone was a travel influencer and all that sort of stuff, and you could really grow quite quickly, and I'd even say compared to now quite easily online. It was called Troopy Adventures, and we had our troop carrier Land Cruisers, and we'd travel around. And like I said, before we started, to call that entrepreneurial would be an extreme stretch. We did sell some T-shirts and stubby holders and host some events and things like that. But it was more just, a couple of blokes going out in the bush, getting drunk and cooking a camp oven feed and going home, really.
And you used to document your adventures, did you?
Yeah, so we built some relationships with a couple of magazines and stuff like that. So we wrote a few articles for Four Drive Action and stuff like that, and even got onto a couple of different DVDs and stuff like that. Just
DVDs, wow,
back in the day, they used to be released with the magazine. I'm showing my age now.
Yeah, kids tuning into this. We used to have these things, that we used to put into a machine. They're called a DVD. Yeah. So good, man. Yeah. Now, and then at some point in time, you decided, hey, I want to become a PT. So what was the turning point for you? Yeah.
So I was in the coal mining industry in the Hunter Valley for nearly 10 years as an operator, trucks, bulldozers, you name it. And for me, credit to everyone who's still doing it. I've got mates and family members that still do it, but for me, absolutely just hated it in the end. Like, it was just destroying my life, essentially. I wanted out, and I wanted out bad, but I just didn't have any other skills. I didn't even finish an apprenticeship as a plumber before that. So I just was like, what do I do, right? Like, I want out, but I've got no way. And I always thought maybe I could do a PT cert. I could probably do the course while I'm driving around a truck in the middle of the night. No one would catch me. Yeah. But, essentially I got like a bit of a blessing and wrapped up in a curse moment was that the pit closed down. And we got a bit of a redundancy package that lingered and dragged on very long. So everything was up in limbo for a good year or so there, waiting to see if that was going to happen. And I said to Tahlia back then, if we do get made redundant, depending on what kind of money we get out of that, let's pay off some debts and hit the road, right? So that eventually unfolded. As soon as I walked out of the meeting after the redundancy meeting, I walked out in the car park on the blower to Tahlia. I said, "Hey, we're leaving in 3 weeks," and jumped in the Land Cruiser and we decided to travel around Australia. So that's what we did prior to PT, was in the mines and just working various jobs. She was managing a coffee shop and also running a wine club for one of the wineries in the Hunter Valley as well. But so we hit the road and I was like, I just need to use this time to go and have some fun, get out there and sort of have that gap year, right? Not that I ever went to university or anything, but essentially I was like, I just need to find a new career path. I want to do something for me that I'm in control of, and what can I do? And I was camping by a creek up at Yeppoon, just up the road, and I remember waking up in the middle of the night and just had this light bulb moment. I was like, hey, why don't I be a PT? Right. So, it was all the same thoughts of, I can set my own schedule. This will be awesome. Run my own show, work, my own hours. I can set everything. It'll be awesome. And then a few months later, signed up to a program while I was still on the road and started working my way through the Cert 3 and 4. And
How good. So that must be a good decade ago now, I'm guessing.
That was 2016, I was on the road. So towards the end of 2016 is when I started as a personal trainer in a commercial gym.
Yep. So good, man. How cool. And that was a turning point. And I love how you said Yeppoon just up the road. You're in Brisbane now. So it's such an Aussie thing to say. Yeppoon in my mind is fucking miles away.
Yeah, true.
I love it.
No, I just spent 7 hours on the highway yesterday.
Mate, nothing for you, is it?
Nah, it's easy.
So the turning point. And then so you launched into a gym. You went straight into a commercial gym, did you? Rep base. That was your first. Yeah. So tell us about your first. What was it, year to 18 months or so in the industry then?
Yeah. So it went kicked off really well. I was so excited. Just happy to be in there doing it. Running my own show. I was working out more. I was healthier, leaner, fitter. I was helping people with their health and fitness goals and all that sort of stuff. But I was making all the same mistakes pretty much most people make, right? Cash payments, charging $35 a session for half an hour, right? So next to nothing, and just trying to help everyone too, right?
Yeah.
So.
And I guess policies, procedures, cancellation policies, none of that stuff.
No. Nothing. Not even. Didn't even know I needed it. No. So making all the same mistakes, and cruising through that first sort of 6 months, it was fun because it was all new and shiny, and I was building up a client base. I knew it'd take time. I believe I got up to about 20 to 22 sessions a week, which I was pretty proud of myself getting to with sort of no external help or no idea what I was doing. But ultimately, we were looking to save for our first house, and I was just suffering from so many cancellations and the fluctuations up and down of pay. You could be looking at making $1,200 a week one week, and then by the end of the week, you're rolling $500 to $700, and you had half your clients cancel at the last minute and all that sort of stuff with no policies and things like that to protect your income and time. So it sort of just got to crunch point for me. I knew there was a better way, and I was seeing all these successful PTs online, right, whether some of them were successful or not. But, you could see that and you could say, look, I know I need a social media schedule. I know I need to be posting things. I know I need to get better at different aspects of this business. And I was trying a few different things and working relatively hard at it, but just there was no direction with it. I was just do it for the sake of doing it and hope it works out. And I think I just had one last minute cancellation too many, and I remember Tahlia finding me sitting in front of the fireplace at 2 a.m. because I rolled over in bed and tapped my phone and saw this long list of cancellations for the next day. And I was like, well, there goes $500, and she found me rocking in a corner next to the fireplace at 2 a.m. and was like, right, we got to get you some help here. Enough's enough. And she evidently found you guys.
She did.
Yeah.
Wow. I was going to ask, how'd you come across us?
I got to that headspace where I couldn't even help myself anymore. I was stuck in the problem. So she's always come through and saved me from myself many times. But she was like, hey, these guys look good. They got great reviews, and I believe she got the book sent through, and I think my phone rang. I'm not sure if it was you that rang me. I can't remember.
I can't remember having the first conversation.
But I was reading the book, kicking back on the couch, reading the book as the phone rang, and talked to someone. So and
there you go.
it started from there.
Jumped on board, and so we would have started our relationship together. I reckon must have been 2018. We're thinking.
I would say about June, July 2018. I think.
Yeah. And you jumped into it, head first, didn't you? You ripped into it.
Yeah. So I believe it's just one of those moments when you're in enough pain and you want to change.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm giving it all. We pretty much threw the last bulk bit of money at this, and we're going to buy Tahlia a new car. We're getting around in a little dodgy Suzuki Swift, and we sacrificed that to do this, and just went all in. Yeah.
Love those stories, man. They're so powerful, hey, because you look back at those moments, and the car, it's a depreciating asset, isn't it? And as much as you feel like, okay, we need that, it's something we need, but it's going, what are we prepared to go without in the short term so we can have, everything we want, in the long term,
Exactly.
So super cool. And you had some really good growth. I remember inside your first year, you ticked some really good goals. I mean, even in a short space in time, you'd had some, when you first launched with us.
Yeah, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was like I increased my revenue by $600 in 6 weeks.
Yeah, I remember we got a video of that. Yeah,
back in the Backstreet Boy days.
Younger version of you. Oh, that's right. Geez, you had a nice hairdo then. We'll have to find that video and break that one out.
Yeah, it was good. But that was cool. But not only was it the $600 in revenue, I had direction going forward. I had someone in my corner. I had someone to bounce all of my frustrations off and success off and all that sort of stuff. I had some positive feedback loops that I needed. Yeah. But the $600 in 6 weeks was great, but also it would have ultimately been more than that because it wasn't the fluctuations anymore as well, right? So that $1,200 became that $1,800 a week sort of very quickly and was relatively stable, which was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's so good. It's a thing we speak about to everyone because, myself, Jason and Brad D, we have the hand in welcoming new people to the program. You have a hand in obviously helping them and coaching them, right? So when we bring them in and we talk about the first stage in anyone's journey, it's like, all right, we've got to get in, get you some quick wins. Yeah. We've got to get an increase in revenue. We've got to put more bums on seats. You want to get a return on your investment, so when you're investing with us, you want to see evidence that this thing's working, and you don't never want the affordability to be an issue. And like for you, that thing, the 600 in 6 weeks, straight away you go, oh, fuck, this thing's working. You know what I mean? It's
100%.
It's cool. And the other part, I took away from it too, is you invested in it in terms of like, not only the financial investment, but it's let's go for it,
Yeah, the time. I tell my Train HQ clients now, like about my starting of my journey, right? And I would say like that first 2 weeks, I just powered through all of the content, watched every video, downloaded everything, had a little folder on the computer with everything in it.
Nerded out completely.
Yeah, just was like into it. And after that 2 weeks, I went back to the start and did it all again for another 2 weeks. And I was watching things that didn't even make sense to me because I wasn't there in business yet. Like I had no understanding of where I was at.
Yeah.
But I knew that a point in time would come where I'd be up to that stage and I'd be like, watched a video on that. I can go back, refresh myself and just go back in like, balls to the wall with it.
Yeah. Such a great piece of advice for anyone tuning into this because, when you hear a piece of content and the other part, there's so much fucking content out there. Like we're in a space, you speak to anyone, there's books that you want to read you haven't got to yet, there's podcasts you want to listen to you haven't got there yet, all that stuff, it can mount up. But if you hear something once, you go, that struck a chord with me, listen to it again, watch it again, whatever, and you'll pick the next bit out of it. Watch it a third time and you'll be going, there'll be the stuff you go, was this really in the first time? Like, it's such a great teaching point. And me personally, when I'm reading a book, I read a book and I like listening to the Audible at the same time. So I like listening to the audio and reading the book, and it's like I just pick up different spots as I'm doing it, So
it's a good way to do it.
Yeah. We're going to talk about your experience as a coach soon, but like everything you've mentioned, like you must just see it. Hey, now you've all the people you've coached, all the things, the people starting out, the lack of systems, the lack of processes, all that sort of stuff. So make a comment on that from what you see.
Yeah, the comment would be that, you've got to be willing to do the work. You've got to be willing to open yourself up to saying, hey, maybe I haven't got it all figured out. Like remove your own ego from it and go, hey, look, let me just embrace what this person's telling me. They've obviously been there. Let's just trust the system. And sometimes you can feel, you can get people that might resist a little bit and struggle to overcome their own limiting beliefs on things as well. But yeah, I think just to start with, like, just tighten up the systems. Where are the little gaps now? Where's that hidden money you can find now?
Yeah,
it can really help. Yeah, when people get started.
Yeah, so cool. Now, the next couple of years of your journey, I remember you actually coming to an event. I think it was one of the first times we may have met face-to-face. 2019, we had a business building workshop in Sydney. You come along to that, and I was doing the whole 2 days on marketing and so forth. And back then, pre-Chat GPT, we were creating and designing our own copy. Yeah. And I remember, right then, you were a standout in terms of, like, part of our events is we get people to come along. We don't only teach content, but it's like you get involved. You instead of you walk away with this big list of things you need to do, we actually do it while we're there. And I remember you specifically ripping in, like you were pulling up headlines, you were doing all sorts of stuff, Yeah. So once again, it's a testament to, like, success leaves clues, and you observe somebody and you see inside that group of people who are there, and lots of great people there, lots of great success stories. But once again, I think back to that moment, I go, there's another standout moment of somebody who just embraced it,
Yeah, 100%. You've got to want to learn, right? You can't change if you stay the same. Like, it sounds cliche, but it's true, right? So if there's a better way to do something, I'm going to learn how to do it, right? Yeah. So
sweet.
Cool.
Now, over the next couple of years in your journey, I mean, you've had quite the experience, haven't you? Because you're in the gym. I know you moved towns. You've hired trainers. There's a whole bunch of stuff you've done through that period.
Yeah, almost tried everything. It was a big journey filled with, like, multiple different things, but. Essentially, just kept building in those that first big year on program. Got myself up to like 45 sessions a week, 2,500, nearly 3K weeks there. And after that first COVID lockdown, we came out. We sort of had that reset moment. Tahlia decided to step in and start doing PT as well. She was working at a desk. We'd also bought our first home before that time, a few months earlier, so a year before the COVID first lockdowns. And so things were looking really good, and it just got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm doing, like, my max amount of sessions that I'm happy with, but also, where can I go from here? Like, I'm sort of capped out. I can charge more, but, I also don't want to be an on-the-floor PT forever as well. So what does this look like? And I remember working through it with Brad Davis, who was coaching me at the time, and we were like, let's look at hiring some trainers, right? So we came out of COVID, and we're just like, right, what do we need to do? Let's rip in, and hired 2 trainers pretty much simultaneously, one week and one the week after. And then within 3 months, they were up to doing pretty much 30 sessions a week. I believe one was doing 30, the other one was doing about 27. And during that time, I just cut back. I ended up doing no PT sessions, just doing marketing, sales, managing the team, just a couple of classes for the gym, just holding up my end there. But and then a few months later, we hired a 3rd trainer as well. Yeah, and we're in the midst of building her up as well. Yeah. So. And
looking back to that journey, then would you say that was kind of like the tipping point of the catalyst for you, sort of moving from technician to business owner? Is that where you really started to embrace it on a higher level?
Yeah, I think with that, it was just such a massive growth moment for me, because I could go in and count reps for most people any day, right? That's the easy part of the job. Yeah. But to be a business owner and keep leveling up, I needed to keep challenging myself and trying these new things so I could, grow into the person, the business owner that I needed to be. So stepping in and just being sort of the manager role of that, and managing the team and all that sort of stuff, and the hardships and managing the people and all that sort of stuff really just helped me grow as a person. And it was really challenging. Yeah, it was quite challenging to say the least, but an eye-opening experience, and something that definitely has made me the person I am now. Yeah,
phenomenal to share, because we speak about the statement we use is, we say being in business, it's the best personal development program on the planet, because it will bring up and stick it in front of your face all the stuff you need to get better at, and go, mate, are you up for this?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's definitely tried to break me a few times, that's for sure. And one of those was once that rug pull moment happened at that gym, and So going from having a team of trainers, not doing any sessions myself, or but doing 5K revenue weeks, bought a new house, moved, traveling backwards and forwards and all that sort of stuff, to go sort of pretty much overnight, go 5K revenue weeks back to zero.
Yeah.
And have that sort of everything sort of disappear very quickly. You can be left pretty broken after that.
Yeah, 100%. And looking back at those moments, was there any standout things that you feel like you learnt, or that was a specific lesson for you as such?
Yeah. At the time, I probably couldn't have seen anything, but there's definitely things now, like, being able to probably be more present. I was new to managing a team, so learning how to manage people and all that sort of stuff was totally new to me. I had no idea really what I was doing.
Yeah.
So, I obviously couldn't see any gaps that were opening quite wide there that might have been right in front of me that I might pick up on now. So, to have it all sort of crumble around you when you just work so hard to build it all up, it's hard to see the forest for the trees at the time. But best thing about happened to me, I think, in business now. When I look at where I'm at now, so it's awesome.
Yeah, it's back to that thing. Hey, you always say, was that a good day or a bad day? And what's the what's the takeaways that you have from it? I remember back to my experience of having a team of trainers, and we were actually building Trainer HQ. Those who know us, we were previously known as Create PT Wealth. That's what we started as 2008. And at the time, I had a team of 13 trainers, and peak physique was absolutely pumping, 250 plus 45-minute sessions a week. And as we were a couple of years into running this business, this started up as a sideline project. It was like, all right, cool. And me and Jace, every year, we'd be like, first couple of years, we're like, all right, cool. Are we enjoying this? Is it moving in the right direction? Do we want to keep doing it? And the answer was yes. And then after a couple of years of this, and we really saw the potential and the growth, and we were taking on more clients. And at the same time, over at Peak Physique, I might have gone from 13 trainers down to 11 trainers. And I'm kind of like, oh yeah, that's kind of all right, because this other business is starting to grow, and we've still got a great team over here. And then, another 6 to 9 months later, a year later, it's down to 9 trainers. And I remember there was this moment where I was a bit conflicted, because I was like, hold on, you're the guy who's out there teaching everybody else how to do this and how to run and all the rest of it. But hold on, you got this team that's, I thought 13 trainers, my next goal was to get them to 20, right? Yeah. Let's do 500 sessions a week, And so there was I look back on it and I go, there was probably times in there where I could have gone, okay, maybe potentially sooner, I could have taken action, or I could have done something to alter that. But again, when you're in it and you take it, you're just in the middle of it. You're absolutely going for it, aren't you?
Exactly.
So,
and you're putting out so many other fires that, like, you can't even see another one starting up behind you. So yeah.
So fascinating experiences all around. And again, those of you like tuning into this, the thing we love about like these is just sharing these stories, is that for most people, and for most clients that come through, I mean, me, Cal, anyone, we're just like everyone else, right? It's not like we don't have these superpowers or anything. We've just like fucking hard work pays off. Yeah. Put the systems, learn the methods, and then start to put it into place.
Yeah, exactly. And not everything you try is going to work. Yeah.
That's right.
I'd be retired. I wouldn't be sitting here anymore. If everything I tried, I got $1 for, I'd be retired. So, yeah, being okay to take the hits, because you're going to get them. Yeah, 100%. And when you get a win, you got to make sure that you do celebrate it, but sometimes you can't even do that because you're so in it at the time, right? And I like what you said before as well, where you talk to Jace about, like, we enjoying this, and the answer is yes. To keep moving forward in this direction. There's been plenty of times where I was faced with different hardships in business, and I'd have to go into the bathroom and look at myself in the mirror and ask myself the question, like, am I still cut out for this? And if the answer wasn't yes, then I was giving myself permission to walk away. But every time I had to do that, the answer was yes, I am cut out for this, and you just get back on and go again, right? And so, yeah.
Love it. So such a great story to share and to experience and so forth. What was the turning point when you guys decided that you wanted to now move more like online and I guess morph into that as the main source of the business?
Yeah, it comes back to the lifestyle that we started off with, right? It's like, well, how can we free up more time, but also still make a solid impact in our in our lane with our ladies and still help people, but also be able to free up that time so we can just live the life we want to live, and essentially, not have to answer to anyone anymore and just do our own thing. So that was sort of the ultimate goal. We did look and explore it, getting our own commercial space and having our own facility. That we explored that. We looked at different places. We had meetings with people that were building new gyms and stuff like that to see if we can come in and sort of just run the joint and have it as ours. But ultimately, we were just like, hey, we're going to have to be in this all the time.
Yeah.
And that's not what we got into business for. So it's for some people, but for us, it just wasn't. We were like, we want to go to the beach and have beers every arvo. Like if the fishing's on, I'm down there, right? So for me, it was, and Tahlia's the same. So just being able to just have that time back.
Yeah. It's I remember all these things now coming back to us, because all through that period of, that COVID era, what a fun time to be alive. I mean, they even shut you guys down. Explain to everybody, so people tuning in this, where do you live in Australia, and how would you describe it to people who have got no idea?
I almost don't want to give it away, but it'd be the last tiny little coastal beach town that no one's really ever heard of. So there's like 4,000 people live there, and the average age is 64. So it's this tiny little retirement village, and we're one of the younger couples there. There is people there, obviously, but so and like there's no one around. It's country, but rural, coastal area. There's nothing there. So to even be cut down to a 5K radius there, you can't even get back to the highway. So pretty wild times, but.
Because I mean, you guys, that's right, you're even shut down there, weren't you? And all that part, it was crazy, because still classified as New South Wales, and you guys copped it several times, right?
There's multiple years of lockdowns on and off, financial hardship for people, all that sort of stuff. So to be able to just suck it up and make it through that time as a business is that was pretty hard times. But so many people had to go through it, so I'm not the only one.
That's Snapper and Barramundi, and that didn't stand a chance through that period, did it?
No, the flathead in the Manning River copped it.
Man, there's so many cool parts about this to keep exploring and so forth. But throughout the journey, obviously, then actually, what I was going to say about you talking about the facility, I remember you attended several of our events up on the Gold Coast, our Millionaire Mindset retreats that we would run. And you guys would come along to that. I remember sitting down, mapping out the business plan on the facility, because it was like, all right, cool, let's potentially have a look at that. Like I guess the thing I've observed is you've left no stone unturned in terms of exploring a lot of different business models and concepts and so forth.
Yeah, 100%. So we've thought about doing like the 12-week, fitness programs that are just sort of generic, and we've looked at facilities. We've thought about like boot camp studios. You name it, we sort of explored all the options and ultimately just found the one that suited us the most. And
that's cool. If someone's tuning into this and they're going, hey, I want to, I like the sound of what you guys are doing in the online part, do you want to break down a couple of key, like in terms of your tech stack and things that you guys use? What are some of the bare bones essentials that you would recommend someone to seriously consider?
I think this day and age, you need some kind of software that you can automate with. Like you need to be able to automate. You need to be able to get people into your world as quickly as possible. So, as far as like the MXP software goes and all that sort of stuff, just being able to build a workflow in there with triggers that if someone comments a key word on our Instagram, they're getting our free resource. They're getting onto our database, right? So everything can just be pulled in to that that CRM and be managed really easily. And obviously you can add tags to it. So you can see where people have come into your business from as well. You're like, oh, this person came from the lead magnet. Oh, this person came through our webinar. So being able to just see all that through a software like that, it's probably been the biggest and best eye-opener for us. When you're trying to manage it without that, it is possible. But I think in this modern world, like if you can get yourself to a point where you can invest in something like that, go for it. Yeah.
Now I'm going to pause on that. Let's say someone's tuning in, that the way you describe that, you make it sound so easy, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
Can we backtrack and can you unravel, like, would you say you're a techie at heart and so forth? Or, would you say you had to learn this stuff or?
Yeah, I resisted learning it for a long time. And I'm the first one out of me and Tahlia to just throw my hands in the air and walk away. And fuck it, it's not working right. How do I do this? And she'll come in and be the calm one and go, right, 10 minutes later, fixed it. All right, now I can get back on track. So I'm usually the first one to have a tantrum and walk away. But ultimately, it's like anything. It's like riding a bike or doing something scary for the first time. Ultimately, if you do it, you realise that, it's not that bad. I can't stuff it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just building the confidence with it and learning how it all works. There's still stuff in that I don't know how it works, right? And I keep uncovering these new things. I'm like, oh, sweet, that's awesome. I'm going to add it in. So I'm definitely not that tech savvy as some. I can do most things, right?
Yeah.
You can definitely send an email. So if you can send an email, geez, I think you can use that. It's just a learning experience, like anything. Like if it's worth doing, and it's going to make your business operate smoother and make your life easier, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's so good for you to hear that and to share it with other people, because again, for a lot of people, they can get blocked in that. And they hear, wow, tags and this and that workflows. Geez, this thing sounds really complex. But once you're in it, it doesn't have to be. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, now let's talk about your experience as a master coach. So obviously throughout this journey, we started the conversation. You come and join the team, and now just looking after so many clients and so many success stories and so forth. So sort of summarize some of your experience as a coach here at Trainer HQ.
Yeah, it's been awesome because you get to see the other side of things, right? You realize that not everyone gets coached, will need to be coached the same way I did. Not everyone learns the way I do, right? So for me to have to learn how to coach different styles and deal with different personalities and all that sort of stuff, it's been a great learning moment for me as well, because I get to give back, because Trainer HQ changed my life. So now I'm just like, I want to be, even if I can just fix one person's business and help them move through and change their life too, I'm happy to do it. So I think that's the biggest thing for me, is just being able to give back. But it's been such an awesome journey. That's for sure. Yeah,
it's phenomenal. And that, what you just said there, it's like the qualities we look for and the sentiment we hear is commonly we hear it from our coaches. They go, I've been in the game. I built myself up to the point where I can now step to the side and go and help others, and I'm on a mission to do that. It's part of my journey,
Yeah, there's enough pie for everyone, right? So just to be able to help and give back and share some of my own resources and things like that, and just give everyone that leg up they need, just something they can model off, so they don't have to figure it all out on their own, right? Just to have that person in their corner, right? Because not everyone gets to do it with their wife, right? So like me and Tahlia get to bounce things off each other, vent our frustrations on each other. Also, having coaches and stuff, but being in the world is great. But a lot of people that are coached don't have that, right? So I get to be that person for them and go, yeah, cool, bro. Like, and I've been there, sweet. So let's talk our way through it. Like, what do we need to overcome, right?
Yeah, phenomenal. So good. What are some traits that you've seen of high performers and people that have, in your opinion, have achieved what you'd deem as successful and so forth? Yeah,
it just comes down to how quick you can take action. I think if you can just go, oh, cool, right, I've got to get this poster printed and it's done and it's up on the wall in the gym, whether it gets a couple of hits or not, being able to do that. And if it doesn't work, you can go, all right, what didn't work about it? What can I do better the next time? You can get that back up 24 hours later. Like, you can implement these systems quick, you're going to learn quicker and you're going to be able to grow quicker. But if you don't take action, if things take you weeks to do, then you're going to be so left behind, right? So a high performer is someone who's just is quick and doesn't it takes responsibility for their own world as well, right? So they rock up to the sessions and are like, okay, I tried that, didn't work. How can we fix it? Yeah, and they might even rock up with solutions and just want feedback on it as well, instead of like, hey, you fix my problems. It's like, okay, well, I'm happy to help, but like it's a two-way street.
Yeah, so powerful, such a powerful thing to share on both levels. Just that fail fast is what I'm hearing there. If it's not working, let's move on to the next thing. And there are so many things. There's so many things in the toolkit that we can use with people, and that's the beauty of it. When you see people do it, then they get the results. Then it's repeatable.
100%. And that's why all my new starters, I tell the story of like, when I started on program, this is what I did, and you should do that too. I just rip in, go for it, absorb as much as you can, ask questions, get involved, watch all the content, download all the things, do everything you can. And ultimately, if you don't do that in a timely manner, you're going to be delaying your success, right? So,
100%. And if we again rewind back to your experience when you were on the program many years ago, like you got yourself to the events, you know what I mean? You had to travel, you had to drive, like you drive up to the Goldie 6-7 hours, like all that stuff. It was no mean feat. At the time, you had a bunch of clients, you had to move people, change them, do all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah,
so
100%.
It's like that thing. There's resources versus resourcefulness, you know. And we always say to people, it's never going to be that time when everything's just going to be perfectly smooth sailing. It's you know, how resourceful can you be to make shit happen?
Yeah.
And again, I look at high performers, and they're the ones that get that resourcefulness to make it happen.
Yeah, 100%. Just to be able to surround yourself with other people that are going through it as well, whatever level they're on, you might learn something from other people there, not just the coaches that might be presenting on the day, but to be able to just surround yourself with like-minded people. Like I've rolled into so many of those Trainer HQ events with what I would deem an empty fuel tank, just like almost defeated because I've had so many struggles, you know, that month or whatever in business, and then by the time the event's over, you roll out and you're overflowing with, you know, excitement with extra fuel, and you're like, right, let's go. Like, what can we do? So it's powerful to be able to, you know, even if you have to take a couple $100 hit by moving clients around or not being able to fit them in, get yourself there, because you'll get paid back for it later.
Yeah, it's a thing we've said to many people, and even back to our 2-day events that we run, the the PT Growth Summit, which are up to 143 of those now since 2008. Some people who go, you know, it's not right now that it's $97 to come along to that, right? So it's, for a lot of people, it's not the $97, it's the investment of 2 days. 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. on a Thursday and on a Friday, and we still have people stuck on that. I got clients booked in, and you know, I got to turn up, can't miss the money, and you know, we've said to people for years, if that's the reason you can't come, that's exactly the reason why you need to be there.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah.
Not easy to hear when you're on the other end of it, is it?
Yeah, because it doesn't even really resonate for half of them. So
it's fascinating when someone's in that, you know, clinging on to clients or cash flow crisis, and it's every single client you're clinging on to, and then that's when back to the frustration happens. You get a cancel or whatever, and it's a non-charge cancel for whatever reason. In, you know, it's this vicious circle, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's a struggle sometimes, but yeah, the value of getting yourself along there and taking yourself out of your business. Yeah, can't describe it. Like, it's just worth it.
Yeah. So I'm sure you've seen plenty of highlights along the way, and like success stories and people. Are there any particular standouts? I'm sure there's plenty, but anything that sort of springs to mind?
I just love to see how, I can't think of any specific people off the top of my head, but I love hearing the stories of the people that have overcome the challenges, or, you know, the hardships, and then they're like, man, you know, I honestly, like, it's down to my last dollar, and then like 6 months later, you know, we're doing 50K months or something that almost seems unrealistic, like unbelievable. But to be able to just hear those stories, especially when you come to events like that, and you can talk to those people, and they're not just on a computer screen or something, like, you can meet them face to face, like, holy shit, it's real, like, maybe it is possible for me too. So I believe just being able to hear those stories of like how people have overcome hardships, or the people that they've had to become to be able to earn the money they want to earn and live the life they want to live, I think that's a big standout for me.
Yeah, so powerful. So and again, the results, the financial stuff, we look back on all the years, 18 odd years of doing this, and, you know, we've seen people pay off debt. We've seen people buy their first home, buy their dream home, drive type of cars they want to drive, do all that sort of stuff. Plenty of cool things. And again, but when we speak to people about it, and again, they talk, you know, you jump on our Instagram, you see all the financial success stories, $5,000 a week, 6, 10, whatever, you know. But for most people, when you speak to them, it's they speak about the experience that they've had, the person they become in the process, the change it's made to them as a human and as an individual, the relationships that are enhanced. It's all the non-tangibles, you know.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Old Cal, like if Cal from 2017 or 2016 was sitting here right now, I'd look a bit younger, but but I'd be a completely different person as well. Like, I'm still the same, but I'm not. Same, different, but I've grown so much, which is just awesome. Yeah. So cool, man. So cool. Well, look, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure having you share your story, your journey, watching you grow from
client, right through, and just putting yourself in it, and now the work you're doing with clients, and it's just been absolutely unbelievable, mate. So I want to say a huge thank you, number one, and a huge congratulations on everything you've achieved in business and personally.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Cheers.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Mate, my absolute pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Cal.